Hello, yeah, moin moin ladies and gentlemen, Donspektor here with another ear tip review. And today for you I have an ear tip you probably have never heard about, the NF Audio MS42. Yes, we are taking it an ear tip that, I don't know, has 42 in there for whatever reason. Is it a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy? I don't know, but yeah, we discuss what these can or can't do today. That's the packaging, looks like pretty much standard here, and there aren't any claims on terms of what this is supposed to do in terms of audio, just says it's comfortable and high quality sound experience or performance, so there isn't anything concrete we need to check here. And yeah, that means we can already come to sizes here. As you can see here, XS clocks in at 9.3 millimeters, S at 10.8, M at 12 and L at 13. And that means this bad boy here is pretty much the smallest tip on the market that I've seen so far. And even if on some IMs, I can see here, right, there's barely any wiggle room between the mantle and the core on the inside. And yeah, it's the smallest tip out there, like really by not a long shot, but it's the smallest. And yeah, sizing wise, as you can see, the jumps are relatively decently chosen. I think maybe something in between here, like 11.5 or 11.3 millimeters would still be nice. And maybe also something at 12.5 or like an L, like definitely an XL, the 14 millimeters definitely missing here. So that means these are generally a bit smaller than other ear tips out there. And yeah, that means in terms of comfort wise, if you get this to fit right, I think this can be relatively comfortable. Can be because, as my title indicates, this is, in terms of material, similar to the Sedna Earfit silicone series. And this thing was not squishy. It's one of the harder ear tips out there. It doesn't conform well to your ear, and yeah, it was not comfortable. And because it's also longer, as you can see in comparison to the MS42 here, I just couldn't recommend this. It was just not good enough. I could see no use case for this to be used. And yeah, this is, I think, the better implementation of that. Because yeah, as you can see, also very little squishy, pretty hard ear tip. But because it's so small, you can just insert it a bit deeper, and it will generally be more comfortable than the silicone series from Sedna Earfit. It's just still not that great. So for me, this means I can wear this for like 20 minutes or so and be okay. And then after that, I notice it. I notice my ear feels like uncomfortable, it pains a bit. And yeah, I just don't want to wear this much more than 20 to 30 minutes out there. Again, this also assumes you get this to fit right. If you have a size that's too small, yeah, well, you have the problem it won't seal. If it's too big, it will be uncomfortable pretty quickly. And yeah, that also means in my comfort ranking, this will, even with the right size, unfortunately still at the bottom of the barrel here. So yeah, again, most comfortable XLR tag, and then again I will just show you probably the ranking here as well, and yeah, skip everything in between and say yeah, the bottom is then MS42 on the same level as Render, same level as Crystal, which in turn is a tiny bit better than Final E, and yeah, which Final E is as bad as the Sedna silicone series here. So yeah, it's not good, but it's also not horrible. Yeah, and the next, noise isolation here. And yeah, this is, as you can see, it has a thick mantle at the front here, like really pretty damn thick. And the silicone is also on the thicker side. And yeah, that means it does definitively isolate above average. So that means we have a render, I said, gives you like a 7 in terms of how well it isolates. Yeah, I think this one clocks in at like 6.5 or so. And I think originally I rated these a bit too high in terms of isolation. Like these are about on par with the MS42 here. So like 6.5. And yeah, this is still better than average silicone ear tip, but not much better at all. And now we come to shaping sound. Subjective first and then objective. And yeah, subjectively, there doesn't seem to be, again, like a big difference with these tips. As you can see, the outlet diameter is also medium wide here. And yeah, there's one exception I want to say here. With the Nuo, where I tried this at last, I have to say, I think the 8 or 9K peak is reduced a bit, and the upper treble comes off as a bit more artificial. Like maybe one peak is created and other is like reduced. I'm not entirely sure, but the upper treble just seems to be a bit more artificially pronounced with the MS42 when it is compared to the Render or here the Sedna Earfit silicone series. So yeah, that's my subjective impression. objective, and yeah, you can see this is again, it's in balanced tip, like it measures similar to the other ones. And yeah, you could argue the mid to upper treble transition is reduced slightly here, but again, it's not a lot. And yeah, the outlier here against the quintet without pinner, you can see noticeable reduction in the mid to upper treble. And I assume this could be the reason why this also sounds to me like lightly reduced, because yeah, I can insert this very deep due to the size, and that also means probably in real life this tip is closer in the coupler to my ear than yeah, it is in the fake pinner, because I just can't insert this tip or the IEM as deep in the fake pinner, and in my ear I can, and without the coupler, without the fake pinner as well. So that could be that this tip actually, due to deeper insertion, though, I don't think it's the tip itself, I think it's just the insertion depth that gives you then a lack of resonance here, that can reduce mid to upper treble transitions here. So keep that in mind, and yeah, if you want to buy this, or if you want to use this, this can be in fact, right? If you just get the small size and you insert it very deeply, it can reduce resonance and then thereby also reduce mid to upper treble. And now we come to additional factors, and yeah, as I stated before, this is just silicone, so you can wash it with soap, can use alcohol, it's very easy to clean, it's not sticky. And yeah, other than that, as I said, also be careful, find the right size for you. If you get it too big, it will be very uncomfortable very fast. If you get it too small, because it's so like hard, it will not conform to your canal that well, and thereby also yeah, lead to a drop in bass. So yeah, the durable device for this seems to be very well, like you see thicker silicone, thick mantle at the front, like generally all things is thick here, so it should last you a very long time. And that brings me to the conclusion here. Again, like this is in one of those tips similar to the render. I just don't think it's a particularly great tip. What I do like is that SS is really so small. This really should be able even to be with the smallest ear canal that you can get this to insert right. But you have to be also a bit resistant in terms of yeah, how durable you are for like a bit of pressure in your ear canal. I have to say, a bit sensitive there, and yeah, this didn't work for me that well. It is still decent on something like the Supermix 4, but again, Supermix 4 is just fitting me so well, so yeah, it worked fine there. But in most other IEMs also, I couldn't get this to fit like for extended amounts. Like as I said, even on the Supermix, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes max is best I could get, and then I was like, no, I want to remove this, it just pains my ear. But your knowledge may vary. As I said, I'm pretty sensitive here, and yeah, at least with the size offering here with XS is so good. Yeah, I think this could make sense for some people if you want better isolation with silicone, and yeah, you like your ear tip to be a bit harder. It's definitely the better choice than the Sedna Earfit silicone series here, as I said. I just don't think this is worth today. I would rather get the MS42 if I would want this type of tip. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you have recommendations or criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor out.